Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying this: being nice is not a virtue if it costs you your soul. For too long, you've been the one everyone could count on. The one who never says no, who bends over backwards to make others comfortable, even when it makes you miserable. But hear me when I say this: it's time to stop being the nice girl. People-pleasing is a subtle yet destructive habit that often masquerades as kindness, empathy, or a desire to be helpful. At its core, it stems from an insatiable need for approval and validation, often at the expense of one's own needs, desires, and well-being. This tendency, though seemingly harmless, creates a dangerous cycle of self-neglect and emotional exhaustion. When you constantly prioritize others' happiness over your own, you risk losing sight of who you are and what truly matters to you. The roots of people-pleasing often lie in childhood experiences or societal conditioning. Many grow up learning that their worth is tied to how well they can serve others, how agreeable they are, or how effortlessly they can smooth over conflicts. Over time, this ingrained behavior becomes a survival mechanism, a way to avoid rejection, criticism, or confrontation. While it may provide short-term comfort or acceptance, the long-term consequences are deeply damaging. The more you give without reciprocation, the more you teach others that your time, energy, and emotional labor are theirs for the taking. One of the most dangerous aspects of people-pleasing is its impact on personal identity. By constantly conforming to others' expectations, you begin to suppress your own thoughts, feelings, and ambitions. You may find yourself saying yes to things that don't align with your values simply to maintain harmony or avoid disappointing others. Over time, this erodes your sense of self. You become so accustomed to meeting the needs of others that you forget how to prioritize your own. This disconnect from your true self can lead to feelings of emptiness, resentment, and even depression. Another significant danger of people-pleasing is its effect on relationships. On the surface, it may seem like an effective way to build and maintain connections. However, relationships built on one-sided efforts are inherently unbalanced and unsustainable. When you constantly bend to accommodate others, you inadvertently teach them that your needs are secondary, if not irrelevant. This dynamic often attracts people who take advantage of your generosity, leading to unhealthy or toxic relationships. Additionally, the lack of authenticity in these interactions can prevent genuine, meaningful connections from forming. The irony is that in trying to be liked by everyone, you end up feeling more isolated and misunderstood. People-pleasing also drains your energy and diminishes your capacity to pursue your goals and passions. Time and energy are finite resources, and when they are disproportionately invested in fulfilling others' demands, little remains for personal growth or self-care. You may find yourself stuck in a cycle of overcommitting and under-delivering, constantly running on empty but never feeling like you've done enough. This chronic stress can have serious physical and mental health implications, including burnout, anxiety, and a weakened immune system. Perhaps the most insidious danger of people-pleasing is the illusion of control it provides. By being agreeable and accommodating, you may believe you can avoid conflict, maintain stability, or prevent others from abandoning you. However, this illusion comes at a steep cost to suppression of your authentic self and the perpetuation of a false peace. True peace, fulfillment, and self-respect come not from pleasing others, but from living in alignment with your own values and priorities. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where you end and others begin, protecting your emotional, physical, and mental well-being. They are not walls to shut people out, but gates to allow healthy relationships in. When you establish boundaries, you teach others how to treat you, setting the foundation for respect, trust, and mutual understanding. Without boundaries, you risk becoming overextended, resentful, or even emotionally drained, as your time and energy are repeatedly compromised by the needs and demands of others. The power of boundaries lies in their ability to create balance and foster personal growth. One of the key benefits of boundaries is the clarity they bring to relationships. When you articulate what you will and won't accept, you eliminate confusion and ambiguity. Others learn what behaviors are acceptable, which prevents misunderstandings and unspoken expectations. For example, in both personal and professional settings, clearly defined boundaries ensure that roles, responsibilities, and interactions remain respectful and fair. This clarity empowers you to navigate life with confidence, knowing that your needs are acknowledged and safeguarded. Boundaries are also a profound act of self-respect. By setting them, you affirm your right to prioritize your well-being and honor your values. It's a way of saying, I matter, and my time, energy, and feelings are important. This self-respect not only boosts your self-esteem, but also teaches others to value you on the same terms. People who truly care for you will respect your boundaries, understanding that they are essential for maintaining a healthy, thriving relationship. Conversely, those who resist or challenge your boundaries reveal their lack of regard for your well-being, helping you identify relationships that may not serve your best interests. Another vital aspect of boundaries is their role in preserving your mental and emotional energy. Without them, it's easy to become entangled in other people's problems, constantly trying to fix, save, or accommodate. This often leads to emotional exhaustion and the feeling that your own needs are perpetually neglected. Boundaries act as a protective shield, allowing you to maintain emotional distance where necessary. They give you the freedom to choose when to engage and when to step back, ensuring that you don't deplete yourself in the process of helping others. Boundaries also foster personal accountability and growth. When you set limits, you take ownership of your life and decisions, no longer relying on external validation to determine your worth. This sense of autonomy empowers you to pursue your goals without being derailed by external pressures or distractions. It creates a space where you can reflect, recharge, and realign with your purpose, enabling you to give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Perhaps most importantly, boundaries create healthier dynamics in all areas of life. Whether in friendships, romantic partnerships, or professional environments, they establish a framework of mutual respect and reciprocity. They ensure that giving and receiving remain balanced, preventing the kind of one-sided interactions that breed resentment and frustration. Boundaries are not about shutting others out, but about letting the right people in under the right conditions, fostering relationships built on mutual respect and care. The fear of rejection is a deeply ingrained human emotion, often rooted in our primal need for belonging and acceptance. Rejection, whether real or perceived, threatens this sense of belonging and can leave a lasting imprint on our self-esteem and confidence. For many, this fear becomes a driving force that shapes decisions, behaviors, and even relationships. It can manifest as hesitation to take risks, avoidance of difficult conversations, or a tendency to conform to others' expectations to maintain approval. While the fear of rejection is natural, allowing it to control your life can be limiting and destructive. At its core, the fear of rejection stems from a fear of losing connection. Humans are social creatures, and from an early age, we learn that approval and acceptance from others brings safety and comfort. However, when we internalize the idea that our worth is tied to others' opinions, we begin to shape our lives around gaining and maintaining that approval. This often leads to self-censorship, suppressing our true thoughts, feelings, and desires to fit in or avoid conflict. Over time, this compromises our authenticity and creates a disconnection from our true selves. The fear of rejection can also prevent us from pursuing opportunities or taking bold steps toward our goals. Whether it's applying for a dream job, asking for a promotion, or expressing romantic interest, the possibility of rejection can feel paralyzing. We imagine the sting of being told no or the judgment of others and decide it's safer to stay in our comfort zone. However, this avoidance comes at a cost. Each time we allow the fear of rejection to dictate our choices, we reinforce a narrative of inadequacy and limit our potential for growth. The irony is that in trying to protect ourselves from rejection, we often reject ourselves first by not even giving ourselves a chance to succeed. In relationships, the fear of rejection can lead to people-pleasing and unhealthy dynamics. When we are consumed by the need to be liked or accepted, we may tolerate disrespect, overextend ourselves, or stay silent about our needs and boundaries. This creates an imbalance where we give more than we receive, often at the expense of our emotional well-being. Additionally, the fear of rejection can cause us to misinterpret others' actions, seeing minor disagreements or moments of distance as signs of impending abandonment. This hypervigilance can strain relationships as it places unnecessary pressure on both parties. Despite its challenges, the fear of rejection holds valuable lessons. It forces us to confront our insecurities and examine the narratives we've internalized about our worth. Learning to face rejection with resilience allows us to grow stronger and more self-assured. Each rejection, though painful, provides an opportunity to refine our goals, clarify our values, and build a deeper connection with ourselves. When we embrace rejection as a natural part of life, we free ourselves from its grip and open the door to greater self-acceptance, fulfillment, and authentic relationships. Rediscovering your voice is a journey back to your authentic self, a reclamation of the thoughts, feelings, and truths you may have silenced over time. Life has a way of gradually muting our voices. Whether through societal expectations, fear of judgment, or the need to conform, Many of us learn to suppress our true opinions and desires to keep the peace or gain approval. This suppression often feels like a small price to pay in the moment, but over time, it chips away at our sense of identity and leaves us feeling disconnected from who we truly are. The process of losing your voice often starts subtly. It may begin with staying silent during disagreements, avoiding confrontation, or saying yes when you mean no. Over time, these small compromises accumulate, and you start to believe that your thoughts and feelings don't matter as much as those of others. You may even convince yourself that being agreeable or accommodating is a sign of strength, when in reality, it often reflects fear of being misunderstood, criticized, or rejected. As your voice fades, so does your confidence, and you find yourself living according to others' expectations rather than your own desires. Rediscovering your voice requires unlearning these patterns and reconnecting with your inner truth. It involves tuning out external noise and listening closely to your own thoughts and emotions. This isn't always easy, as it often means confronting uncomfortable truths or admitting that you've neglected your needs for too long. However, this self-awareness is crucial. When you begin to acknowledge what truly matters to you, your values, passions, and boundaries, you take the first step toward reclaiming your voice. One of the biggest challenges in this process is overcoming the fear of how others will react. Speaking your truth can feel risky, especially if you spent years prioritizing harmony over honesty. You might worry that asserting yourself will upset others, lead to conflict, or even result in rejection. While these fears are valid, they should not hold you back. The people who genuinely care about you will appreciate and respect your authenticity, even if it takes time for them to adjust. Those who resist or dismiss your voice may not have your best interests at heart, and their reactions can serve as valuable insights into the health of your relationships. Rediscovering your voice is also about embracing vulnerability. It means allowing yourself to be seen and heard, even when it feels uncomfortable or risky. Vulnerability fosters deeper connections because it invites others to meet you where you truly are, rather than where you think they want you to be. It also empowers you to set boundaries and communicate your needs clearly, which are essential for maintaining healthy relationships and protecting your mental and emotional well-being. As you rediscover your voice, you'll notice a profound shift in how you engage with the world. You'll feel more confident, empowered, and aligned with your purpose. Decisions will become easier because they'll be rooted in your values, not in a desire to please others. Most importantly, you'll find a renewed sense of freedom and fulfillment, knowing that you're living life on your own terms, unapologetically and authentically. Being nice has long been hailed as a virtue. We are taught from a young age that kindness is a moral compass, guiding our interactions and shaping how others perceive us. But being nice is not the same as being authentic. Often the need to appear nice comes from a place of fear of rejection, fear of confrontation, or fear of disapproval. This version of niceness can be a facade, an armor that shields us from discomfort, but also keeps us from living truthfully. The shift from being merely nice to being authentic is a transformative process, one that requires self-awareness, courage, and a willingness to embrace vulnerability. Niceness in its purest form is rooted in the desire to make others feel comfortable and valued. However, when we base our self-worth on how much we can please others, we begin to lose sight of our own needs, desires, and emotions. The problem with being overly nice is that it often involves suppressing your true feelings to avoid conflict. You say yes when you want to say no. You smile when you feel upset. And you go along with plans you don't want to be part of all to maintain the peace. But this pattern comes at a cost. It's exhausting and it erodes your sense of self. The more you mold yourself to fit into others' expectations, the more you disconnect from who you really are. Being authentic, on the other hand, means staying true to yourself, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. Authenticity requires you to embrace your own voice and speak from a place of honesty, without fear of judgment. This doesn't mean being rude or inconsiderate, but it does mean expressing your thoughts, feelings, and boundaries with clarity and respect. When you transform from being nice to being authentic, you stop being a people pleaser and start being someone who values their own truth. This transformation involves challenging the beliefs that have kept you stuck in the cycle of niceness. The first step is recognizing the difference between kindness and people pleasing. Kindness comes from a place of genuine care and respect for others, and it can coexist with authenticity. People-pleasing, however, is driven by the need for external validation and approval. When you choose kindness over niceness, you prioritize what feels right for you while still being considerate of others. It's about striking a balance that allows you to be both compassionate and true to yourself. As you shift towards authenticity, you will encounter resistance both from within and from others. Internally, you might struggle with guilt or fear about how your truth will be received. The idea of disappointing others or rocking the boat can be intimidating. But the more you practice living authentically, the more natural it becomes. You begin to realize that your worth does not depend on how much you give or how agreeable you are. You have the right to say no, to express disagreement, and to pursue your own path. Externally, others may not immediately understand or appreciate this new version of you. People who have come to expect a nice version of you may react with confusion, disappointment, or even resentment. But true friends, family, and colleagues will come to respect the real you, the one who is brave enough to show up authentically, no matter the reaction. Transforming from nice to authentic doesn't mean rejecting kindness. It means replacing the facade with real, honest, and respectful interactions that honor both yourself and others.